Ladies and gentlemen, the good Republican, the good, decent, moral Republican who opposed Trump in a way might be going to jail for perjury, or at least because he's being compelled to testify by a special counsel that is going after everyone around Trump simply for political reasons. Pence was just fine with this. Pence was instrumental in setting up Michael Flynn. When they first went after Michael Flynn in 2017, when Trump defeated Clinton, he was in the Oval Office his first couple of months. Media ran with the story that Flynn allegedly lied to Pence. Pence could have simply said, "Now this is absurd, and anything that goes on in this administration is between us." Instead, they utilized that to then investigate Flynn and then accuse him of lying to a Federal Bureau of Investigation agent. Okay, that's the only thing he ever was accused of doing. He never did anything with another country, neither did Trump. But Pence didn't speak out against the Mueller probe. Pence was a good Republican, willing to just accept Democrats, media, bureaucrats, loyalists within these agencies going after Trump for political reasons. They utilized the Steele dossier, purchased by Clinton against Trump. Pence didn't speak out. They went after him from the Durham probe indictments, where we found out that they literally fabricated a server story. Pence didn't speak out either. Okay, now the same monster that Pence helped create is trying to devour him. Interestingly enough, Pence stood by, allowed statements to be made. I'm not going to get into the validity of certain viewpoints, but they claimed that Trump was devouring democracy and essentially that Mike Pence was the hors d'oeuvre. And Mike Pence said nothing. He was fine with it. In fact, months back, he said that there could be better options, but here, than Trump. NBC News, CBS, special counsel asked judge to compel Mike Pence to testify in January probe. Well, but they couldn't find anything. Hit subscribe to this channel. We're finally moving, people. We're finally moving. This man risks jail time or prison time because he was part of a very corrupt system. Trump is essentially getting revenge, retribution, in a very roundabout way. Nothing ever works out. When you level your, when you try to get Trump, nothing ever works out. Or if you would just sit back and say, well, you know what? The monster won't eat me up. Well, if you level the monster at Trump, eventually bad things take place. You could ask everybody from, we can go down the list, Eric Schneiderman, everyone at CNN who was forced out. We can go down the list of people. It's like a Trump curse. Actors who've gone after Trump, it has not worked out for them in the long run in terms of their own despicable characters being revealed. We can go on forever, but hit subscribe to this channel, share this everywhere, because this is almost like I don't know if it's a curse or if it's like some kind of political calculus, a political mathematical equation. Go after Trump, you get devoured by the system that you tried to uphold. Hit subscribe. Go to hagoodman.com to read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, and other publications. And also, the super thanks is below next to the like and the share buttons. Your super thanks is greatly appreciated. And my Patreon is below as well. CBS News, like I said, judge compels Mike Pence to testify. CNBC, Trump criminal probe. Special counsel asked judge to compel Mike Pence. Mike Pence is now going to have to testify and go against, or he's going to have to contradict things that he stated, okay? So I'm not going to get into the things that he stated that were not accurate, but he embellished and tried to further a theory that Trump was devouring democracy, that he was right before the main course. Okay, this is what takes place, ladies and gentlemen. This is what takes place. This is why you want to watch this channel for the next at least 2 years and beyond, hopefully, because, I mean, forever on this channel, we're gonna talk about the aggregate view, the bird's eye view, and what motivates these politicians. Pence was motivated by sitting on the fence, being Trump's vice president, but also being a liaison or a conduit or, giving an olive branch to the never Trumpers, to the good Republicans, to the Paul Ryans, the Mittens Romney, the Jeff Flakes, the Kinsingers, the Cheneys. All of these people voted alongside Trump. Kinzinger and Cheney voted alongside Trump in Congress, according to 538, over 90% of the time. Okay? They differ from Trump in terms of reverence to media and also foreign policy. They don't mind if $100+ billion is sent towards a never-ending military conflict, where no American can actually explain how is this within our national security interests. How does this help the United States of America? And even then, there are absurd leaps of logic. What takes place, ladies and gentlemen, is that when you point out the leap of logic, okay, we have to investigate Trump, because if it's a leap of logic that makes no sense, so the DNC email showed that Bernie Sanders was cheated by the Democratic Party. Bernie Sanders, okay? Bernard Sanders, the Democratic Socialist. And I used to be the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. Think about that for a second. On the entire internet, the Huffington Post called me the biggest Bernie Sanders booster. And the unofficial scribe of Sanders is the most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. I saw everything they did to Trump, they did to Bernie Sanders on a lesser scale. But Bernie didn't fight back. They investigated Bernie Sanders. Sure they did. Oh, they investigate, they write hit pieces. It's a concerted effort. It's like a plan, a rubric, a game plan, a roadmap, a template. Disparage through hit pieces, investigate, find a way to investigate, and they did it with Bernie. But he complied very quickly. I thought that he was the type of person who you'd have record low poverty with. We had record low poverty with Trump in 2019. And then Democrats tanked their state economies, then gave stimulus and said, oh, look, we're the good guys. We're so fantastic. It's like, no, you prevented people from working, then you wanted an eviction moratorium. They create the problem, and then they say, well, look, we're on the side of morality. It's like, no, you didn't have to tank your state economies. You didn't have to push through media and bureaucrats to end economic activity. That was a choice. And all of their failed choices are then rebranded and marketed as things you had to do. We had no choice at all. We had to have acted that way. It's like, no, you didn't have to act that way. But Pence tried to become part of a monstrous public relations machine, and it's biting him in the rear end. Okay? And he risks jail time now because he made statements that were not accurate. Initially, he might have made statements to Congress, to Kinzinger and Cheney, that were not accurate, that he'll have to then refute in the special counsel. That's what one of the reasons there's a special counsel against Trump is to try to see if anyone changes their testimony when they were under oath and to the congressional committee months back. If the testimony with the special counsel has changed a little, then they can say, oh, perjury. But see, this is like Trump doesn't even have to do anything to exact retribution against those that really didn't care whether or not, either wanted to go after him or didn't care whether or not that this monstrosity of a public relations bureaucratic monster went after him or not. So Democrats don't roll this way. They're all unified all at once. You think that all of these Democrats, you think Schiff or any of them believed that Trump really worked with the Kremlin? Of course they didn't. Of course they didn't. Pence, different story. No unity within the Republican Party. Then they wonder why there are Democratic senators in red states, because you have never Trumpers. There are no never Democrats. There are no never Bidens or never Hillarys. They don't exist. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Pence could face jail time. And it's his reverence or worship or respect for a very corrupt system that got him into this point. It wasn't Trump. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. I'll be back in about a couple of